Fam, come on in, come on in, come on in. What's good with the family? It's your favorite TikTok Uncle and I am back, man, with another review, man. Before we jump in this review, y'all already know what I need y'all to do, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good shit. We gonna get right into this, man. When I say this nigga Donald Trump is a clown, bro, this nigga is a fucking clown, bro. I don't see how he be getting away with some of the shit he be saying, but the shit be hilarious though, bro. Like, Donald Trump a fucking clown, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't vote. I ain't gonna vote for nobody because I don't think my vote the vote ain't gonna change the way I live. It ain't gonna change my life. So with that being said, man, let's just jump into this shit, man. Let's see what this nigga Donald Trump talking about. I ain't really, you feel me? I haven't heard everything, but I heard he was saying some outlandish shit, man. Let's see what he talking about.
As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. NABJ has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag NABJFactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJFactCheck. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time, so let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
What? Okay, in Chicago. I was about to say, why the fuck is they playing this boom bap ass music for Donald Trump to walk out to, bruh? They should have played some fucking horns and some American shit, bruh. Like, is it like they were trying to piss Donald Trump off the muscle? He looked like he disgusted too, I ain't lying.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack.
All Trump do is lie, bro. Trump get up there and say whatever the fuck he want to say. Don't nobody correct him.
Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and
where we come from, Trump? Where do black people come from, Trump? Somebody let me know.
Rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had
Hey, sometimes people do ask stupid and racist fucking questions, though. I can't say nothing about that. Sometimes people do ask stupid ass questions. I ain't lying.
Saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had
Look at Trump fidgety as shit. He ready to go off. He finna go crazy. I just know it.
At dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network.
Yes. Trump came right out on bullshit, bro. I told you. Man, I know human behavior, bro. He's sitting there fidgeting the whole time, bro. He like, yeah, wait till this bitch keep done talking, bro. I'm finna go out. I knew he was finna get crazy, bro. I said, this is probably the most disrespectful way I've ever been asked a question. You don't even say hello. Bitch, we didn't come here to fucking say hello to you. Came here to get on your ass. Make you tell us what the fuck you gonna do for us.
Trust you after you have used language like that.
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think
he don't give a fuck what he say.
It's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for
Boy, come on now. Stop it. Stop it, bro. You don't give a fuck about us, and you care about the dollars that we do or don't fucking have. You don't give a fuck about no black people. Stop that shit.
the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and you know, and I say
That's in South Carolina he talking about?
this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it.
It's a difference between struggling and stone cold broke. That shit is not the same.
I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
think
if you
it's
could
a
answer the
very
question on
nasty
your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered the
black voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights
And
Act?
for you to
That shit racist than a motherfucker, bruh. That shit racist as fuck, cause in his mind, he's saying Abraham Lincoln freed y'all. That's what he's saying, bro. And we all know that ain't the fucking case. That wasn't a motherfucking case, bro. We all know that. Y'all go do a little history lesson. Abraham Lincoln wasn't fucking fighting to free no black people. He was fighting for a whole nother fucking he was fighting for a whole nother reason. Freeing the slave just happened to be on the fucking ballot. He didn't go up there like, look, we finna free all these fucking black people. That was not his fucking goal. That shit was racist than a motherfucker.
start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner. I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition of
DEI.
that? Give me a definition of
Sir,
that.
I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris
I'm talking about she read what the fuck it mean verbatim. You talking about describe it. Nigga, she did already.
is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
I think I didn't know she was black. Until recently, she just happened to turn black. That shit was funny, though.
So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect either
historically
one.
black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't. Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you believe that she is
somebody should look into that too when you continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some Republicans
I really
have
don't
said?
know. I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that
Well, you
interview.
told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
He cleaned that up good. He cleaned that up good. What is a black job? Look, if you black and you working, that's a black job. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying particularly this particular thing is a black job. I'm saying they're taking jobs from black people. I feel that, Trump.
And
Mr.
they're
President,
taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and
That's
they're
how he
taking
talk.
black jobs and Hispanic jobs, and frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from
His head is funny as hell. He really talk like this. That shit funny.
prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all
Get away from me. Get away. Move.
the same. We don't vote the same. We don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts, and this is the weight
Ma'am.
of the inflation
Stop.
in this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
So, first of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman was...
No, Trump, bro, we heard her fucking perfectly, bro. Like I said, I can barely hear you, but it's equipment bullshit. Like, he gotta win, bro. If Trump feel insulted, he gonna insult your ass like it ain't nothing, bro.
able to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually.
Bro, y'all so close. She could talk to you without a fucking microphone and you can hear her, bro. Y'all on the same fucking stage and nobody is talking.
But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community. Probably.
Hey, if Trump trying to convince us that he gonna get inflation to go down, I ain't been watching. I don't know. But that is a fucking problem, though. Is she talking about bringing inflation down too? Because, hey man, that's a good policy right there. I ain't lying, man. The fucking inflation is crazy.
Probably as much or
So what do
more
you do?
than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might,
I don't know. I don't believe shit that Trump say. Is the energy crisis is what made inflation go up? You drop energy, inflation go down. Do it work like that? I got a brother I'ma ask, bro, because he be on politics. I really don't.
I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls, and then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed.
Everything with him is the worst in history when he talking about somebody else, and with him, he's the best in history. Like, it ain't no in between with Trump.
And instead of saying, you know, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight, a prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing well. You say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him, and now we have to steer toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is...
I guess you know more than the number crunchers, Trump.
Absolutely destroying this country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question
Yes,
that is
and-
also impacting black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well,
It didn't look-
police unions are not
She didn't
backing
throw
this
no water.
person either.
Okay.
But
And
again, why would,
they're going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
so why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now,
distinctions?
for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being
Who is the group of
unfairly
people? That's what she
prosecuted
asked.
because the person did a good job maybe with crime, or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be?
You make an innocent mistake and shoot somebody in the head, the fuck is you talking about, Trump?
What would determine
You
an
go
innocent
after
mistake?
somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And you know, they have, the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less.
Trump trying to give Trump trying to give police more license to smoke people they already smoking us. You trying to give them immunity for smoking us? Yeah, Trump, I think you just lost some more votes.
Than a second to make a life and death decision, and sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult
in
case.
history, huh?
And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't, because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that.
You basically said you beat it because you was the president and he didn't beat it because he wasn't the president.
That he was incompetent, and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial, and yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory, and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory, and therefore we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case, and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
He don't fuck with ABC, man. Look, man, this is just part one. I'm going to bring this back, and we're going to finish the other part later, man. I got duty calls, man. I got to run, man. But y'all let me know, is this nigga Trump a fucking clown, man? Is y'all voting for Trump? Is y'all voting for, I don't know how to say her name, I'm sorry. For her? Y'all drop in the comment. Y'all let me know, man. I think this nigga Trump crazy as hell. I feel like he have some good ideas, but he's so motherfucking egotistical that he can't really run shit how it should be run because he think his thought is the only process. His perspective is the only perspective. And that just ain't how the world work, man. But I don't know, man. We're going to run this part 2 back, man. I got to run, man. But I appreciate everybody for checking in. Y'all drop in the comments. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this shit, man. And any other thing y'all want me to react to, y'all know I'm going to keep this content jumping. But until next time, till next review, peace.